I've said it before and I'll say it again. That weird Scream 4 filter. Yuck.
That is funny.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristin.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your new favorite pop culture YouTube channel where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. And as always, this is a spoiler show, so you have been warned.
Yes.
On today's episode, we are finally going to discuss we finally get to discuss the much anticipated, long awaited Scream 5.
Hello, Sydney. It's an honor.
I'm still just kind of high. I just really liked it. I really liked it. Did you like it?
I liked it fine.
Oh. So I definitely would need to see this at least once, if not two more times, to actually like dissect, diagram it, be like, I loved this and I didn't blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And I think this part, blah. So this is more just, I think, going to be
First
us
impressions.
listing the things that happened. I'm being like, this happened and I liked it. So I just kind of loved it. Do you have anything you want to say starting?
I mostly liked it. I think it was like mostly good. I liked it better than the fourth one, which is, I guess, the worst. But that's basically it. I mostly liked it. I thought a lot of the performances were good. I thought some of the emotional stuff that was supposed to be emotional paid off. I also am obsessed with Jenna Ortega at this point. I think she's so good.
I love her.
The world is hers to lose.
What I liked about this is I think it resonated and nailed the tonal balance of here and now so much better than the fourth one.
Okay.
The first three, as we've mentioned many times, we were like 15 when we saw, so it's hard for us to objectively come at those where we're very sort of like set in our ways with how we feel about it.
I will say, I think I was like 20 by the time I saw the third one,
But the fourth one, there was something about it that just felt. I said it felt like a boomer lecturing me on Twitter at a certain point, trying to talk about the thing with kids these days.
I got a little bit of that towards the end of this one.
Oh, sure. But I think all of the stuff, I grinned ear to ear with the opening scene because, and I don't think it's as simple as audiences are more sophisticated. They are. But it's like, not only are our audiences more sophisticated, but we're also now 5 movies into this. We have seen the scene play out. And I just think they did such a better job versus the, what's your favorite scary movie? Which, I mean, he says, 2 or 3 sentences before that to Drew Barrymore. But they're having a conversation where we know that it's Ghostface, but it's actually plausible that she's talking to her mother's sponsor or something.
Yeah.
And it actually allowed me to invest myself in and care about these characters. I genuinely cared about
Tara.
And
Samantha. Less so, you said, but.
Yeah, Tara, a little bit less so Samantha, but I think that was, I don't know, Jenna Ortega, she was so cute and so sweet, and she was savvy enough, and it made me flinch when he was coming at her. I just it got brutal in a way that I think it needed to be.
Yes, because these movies haven't been that brutal since the first one. The first kill, killing Casey in the first one, that opening kill, that sets a fucking tone. And then even something as comical as Tatum in the dog door in the garage, that's still brutal and horrible and disgusting. And I don't think any of the subsequent movies have really lived up to that until now. The brutality of these killings is intense.
But it can't be just brutal.
Yeah.
There is, it's one of my favorite words, but there is a tonal balance that you need to hit. And I got scared because I thought they were going too hard on Tara.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And then you find out she survived.
Yeah.
And so it's something like, okay, when he breaks her leg, I was like, fuck. I was like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
I was really, and it
It's
like
too much.
went through her hand, and it was very visceral in a way that I had become desensitized to this franchise.
And then you like hardcore almost barfed when he gets hurt again in the hospital.
So I'm still a little bit sick. If you're long time fans of our show, we stay sick. But
You stay sick.
I stay sick. But when she had the hospital scene, there was something about it that I was just so, because I already was a little bit nauseated, and then I just kept imagining when you have like a wound that's like infected or like just starting to heal, how much it hurts. And then I was like, now imagine that times like 500.
Yeah, because she's been stabbed 7 times.
And it was long.
It was long.
It
really
was
long.
She like gets out of the bed. She like is like pulling her leg out from it. Oh,
it was horrible.
And I literally was like, I might need to leave the theater. It was so bad. And then the hand, her trying to wheel in the wheelchair, and it, like, oh man,
it was tough. It was pretty tough.
But she did a great job. No, I think that it re-earned the stakes for me in a way that, and we talked about in Scream 4, there's the Olivia killing, but that's sort of, I don't know.
That is, and they make a point to talk about it within the movie. That's a little torture porny, and this is not so much that, because it didn't register. He's not inflicting the pain on her actively when she's trying to get away and keeps hitting her hand on the wheel. She is passively inflicting that pain on herself, and so it's not torture porn in that way.
It was body horror, which is different than torture porn, and I don't like body horror, but a few occasions, the only 2 I can think of is that Perfect Getaway movie when Timothy Olyphant puts his head back together, and Ready or Not
with the
yep. It's horrible.
It's super horrible.
But you're kind of enthralled. It's so I don't know if it's just this director.
Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette.
I didn't realize it was a duo. I'm following them on Twitter. I like it. I like what they did here. I don't know. I liked these characters for the most part. There was 1 or 2, like, what was her name?
Oh,
Liv.
The girlfriend.
I didn't love Liv, but again, I don't think that was necessarily a failing. I think on the writing, the acting, or the direction, I think you can have a character that you're like, this fucking bitch. But
yeah, so she is French Tunisian. Her name is Sonia Amar. I see it. She was not my favorite, and I extremely didn't like Amber, but in a way that I was like, she's so terrible that there's no way she could possibly be involved in all of this.
Well, because she's super suspicious in the opening scene.
She was just too mean the entire time.
Well, she was super guarded, protecting Tara. And this whole the big lesbian energy all over this whole movie.
I felt that, and I also want to give a round of applause for the girls from Yellow Jackets, because they are fucking gigging right now. Jasmine Savoy Brown's been gigging for a while. She was Mindy, which Randy's niece, which is super fun. And then the girl that played Natalie, Sophie Thatcher, she was on this week's Boba Fett. So it's just fun. I like watching these girls succeed. Very fun.
No, I really did. I liked this crop of kids, because we also had Mason Gooding. We know him from Love Victor, and he was great in here. He probably looked the least like a high school student.
Because he's an entire adult man with that face and body.
But yeah, going back to Amber, it's like, yeah, I kind of hated her. But again, it's like, I don't think that was a failing on anybody's part. And then coming to the spoiler parts, when it was revealed that she was one of the killers, I had sort of like, oh, and then I was like, and then she pulled an Emma Roberts and kicked it into high gear for the whole.
She really did kick it into high gear. So I do kind of want to talk about the ending, because I actually don't love the killers. It kind of annoyed me that neither one of them were related at all to any of this.
That in and of itself felt like a red herring. Like the trailer sold us on that, but it was pretty incidental by the time
it was pretty
actually...
incidental. I did the thing that normally you do, where I had set my heart on it being Stu.
Oh.
That he had survived and was like in a like broken out of some facility or
Who
something.
the killer is very rarely.
It's a lot of the times it's incidental. It's just it's generally revenge. But this was, and it was that point where they're like explaining their master plan, which they always do. It's very The Incredibles, where it's like, you got me monologuing, and it's like you're just giving them time.
But everybody was having so much fun doing it that I was like, so I think because I've had my ups and downs with you know, the stakes of some of these and the believability of some of these and stuff like that. Like this time I was just here for the food.
Okay.
And I thought it was great. I was just like,
that's fair. I had a really good time, and I will say this, which now 100% spoilers. I am obsessed with Jack Quaid. I think he is so great. He did such a good job in this movie.
You're kind of, I mean, yes, they make sure to make everyone suspicious, but we were pretty much like, it's gotta be.
I just sort of was like, I mean, actually, I would have believed it was Jasmine Savoy Brown before anyone else.
I never thought her. One of the, so there's a de-aged Skeet Ulrich in this movie. I loved it. I was like...
Okay, I will say I didn't hate it. It's not.
It's a leap.
It's a swing.
It's a swing. There you go.
And here, my biggest issue, and I can already feel the comments because of this. Because yes, I'm aware Riverdale is bad. Whatever, get over it. I don't understand how you leave Riverdale because the writing is not good, and then you come back and do this.
Oh, I thought it was fine.
I don't. It was weird.
No, I love it.
And again, sort of incidental. I don't mind the de-aging. That part is zero to me. But then when at the very end, when he's like looking in her eyes through the mirror, and he like winks and like gestures to the knife under the curtains, I was like, okay. We've never had ghosts before.
You're selling me more.
I mean, it was whatever. It was
because
fine.
it also now I would have been mad if this actually were the reveal, because I don't think it's poetic or I don't think it's justified.
Okay,
but that doesn't stop you from entertaining it as an option while you're watching the movie. Having that element allows you to suspect Sam herself,
sure,
as a killer. Where it's like, because I actually hate at this point the optics of like mental health being used as a reason for like murder and stuff like that.
The only I'll accept it for Michael Myers because that's grandfather. It's already
done.
We're there. It's fine. But I agree with you.
But the fact that she has this disconnect allows you to be like, well, maybe she doesn't even know she's committing these crimes, these murders.
Here's a question: do these writers work for Riverdale? Because we did go to a real serial killer, Gene's place, which is it was okay. Again, I find it interesting. I just like and I will say at least like fucking Billy and like Dewey weren't like force ghosts at the end, you know? Like, could you fucking imagine?
Yes.
But again, I like did have a really good time, and that is what I'll say is that we actually if these continue, if we get more Scream movies, now we have real stakes. I feel like if there's 2 more, we're losing Gail and
the meta stuff worked way better. It just felt slightly more toned down. It just felt a little bit more lived in a way that I felt like Scream 4 was lecturing me. Where this meta stuff was more like a
it was also it was also only like one sentence about like Reddit threads and stuff, and it was like it wasn't as like punch you in the face with it. Although Jack Quaid, he goes so fucking hard about how like
we love
the Stab franchises, blah blah blah.
He is so. It's the worst kind of fan, and
oh
there's
my God.
too many of that kind of fan, and I love that's the villain of this movie.
See the comments on our Batman trailer reaction video.
Toxic bullshit Reddit fandoms. Like I love that's what that, and I can't stop thinking of things I love about this movie. I really enjoyed it. I
really liked it a lot. I will say I am very sad to lose both Dewey and Deputy Judy.
Justice for the Hicks.
Because then
So-
Dylan Minetti played Deputy Judy's son. And
So Judy was doing not a lot in this movie. It's fine. I understand that
she was going to pick up sushi.
She was. He was so cute, though. Could not be more my type, my speed. And I had convinced myself he was gay. I thought it was just because of the highlights. But also a male shower scene.
A male shower scene, and I would like to note that yes, he did have some kind of Axe product, but he also had jasmine and mint hand soap. Obviously, Deputy Judy bought that, but the fact that he's using it is a thumbs up.
But there's a point where I'm like, oh my god, a man is taking off his clothes to get into a shower in a scary movie. I love it. I love it. And
I love him. I've loved him since Scandal. He played the president's son on Scandal.
He was, oh god, he was so cute. I was so sad because once he was out of the shower, I was like, oh, we're good to go. And because that's another thing is half of this movie is emotional terrorism. It's threat. What?
The whole thing. Every single time he like opens a door and you think it was music.
So funny.
The music crescendoed and then he would close the door or the cabinet or whatever.
I wonder what the rewatchability is going to be though, because there is like easily 7 minutes of this movie watching this teenage boy just prepare dinner.
For dinner, which is so sad because Judy is already dead on the front lawn.
So, and that's what we're anticipating is we're anticipating a macabre tableau of his mother, and it never does happen. I'm not going to go as far as to say that I didn't like it or it went too far or whatever. And I think it had to. I mean, I think we had to care. And the fact that it's like the fact that he was her son helped me. But I mean, he's in like 2 or 3 scenes. Yeah. And I was genuinely bummed. And I mean, I do like it because it is elevating the genre, but we're in a real slow stab place with movies.
Right through the neck too.
And you're right, through the neck.
Yeah,
not into the neck.
No, it came out the other side. It's like
neck.
through right here. It came out the other side. Horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. It worked. I am very surprised and impressed by how invested in this borderline entirely new crop of people. Yeah. Because I think mercifully Sydney is not in much of this at all.
No, and like Dewey calls her like almost immediately when the movie opens and is like, "Don't come back here," and she's like, "No, I'm not going to. I have kids and a husband." Who's Mark? Is that Patrick Dempsey?
Oh, I don't know.
Was that his name? I don't remember, and so I was like,
I don't think so
because she's married to somebody named Mark and she's got 2 kids. And
I like that we didn't even.
No, it's fine. I'm good without that. But yeah, I definitely agree that it was good. She wasn't in most of it. Because she's also not in most of the third one either. She's like relatively absent from the third
but we're
one.
still treating her like we check in with her in the third one. We're still treating her like the lead. Yeah. And she's very much a grand dame in this one.
Because wasn't it Kincaid?
Mark?
She married Patrick Dempsey. Get it, Sydney?
Do I kind of live for that?
Yeah, I hard live for that. Yeah.
I might love that.
That also keeps the door open for Patrick Dempsey to recur in these movies.
I might love that. It was funny. It also was just like a funny movie. Yeah. Like
when he is back in the hotel room, like watching like YouTube videos about the Stab franchise.
Kill Count. I can't think of his name, but I love Kill Count, and he got.
And he's like. She calls and he's like, "Man, those people are right. The 8th one is really terrible. It's like totally against blah 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 blah." And it's so funny. And
I loved them because the YouTube video. I loved them performing YouTubers. Yeah. It was really good. We deserved that. No, all of his stuff was so good. And again, it's like if I had to pick. We were the most suspicious of him kind of the whole time. But in that regard, it reminds me of season 1 of Westworld. So not even really a spoiler.
Everyone's a fucking robot. Get over it.
But it's like, I remember there was like a whole group of people who were like, I cracked the code to the point, and they were being dicks about it. Like where Evan Rachel Wood was like, it's the journey. Yeah. And so for me, I think there's something sort of like, because this has gotten so meta, there's something kind of great about being like, yeah, it's the love interest,
of course. And that was actually great, where he was like, I even made you suspect your own sister, like, ugh. And you think
I was going to be furious
if it was
her,
Tara,
because I liked her so much.
Yeah, it would have been dumb if it was her.
And it's too Scream 4.
Also, she was stabbed so many times. that means if it was the two of them, if it was Richie and the sister, Richie and Tara, he would have done every single killing.
Yeah.
She was extremely stabbed.
Yeah. So we mentioned that we did lose Dewey. It felt right. You know, I think that
I have a feeling that at some point, David Arquette was like, I'm too old for this. Please kill me.
There's like an unspoken truth that Dewey is actually kind of a terrible character. He's bad at his job. So like canonically now at this point.
None of these Woodsboro cops are good at their job.
There was this like comically
Chester
hot
Tam.
Chester Tam. I liked him, and he survived. Although he did kind of like drop off halfway through the movie.
He did. Yeah. He's like, he's in a couple of things, but not anything, not like a lot.
Deputy Venison.
Vincent.
Oh, I like Venison better.
It's not.
Oh, Kyle Gallner's hot. He was like scuzzy in this, but he's hot there. That was a
What? Your scuzzy is my hot, because I thought he was hot in this.
well, sure, but
He was an asshole, but yeah, he got hot. He got like, he's 35. He got
there was
older
a
and
lot
hot.
of like
Yeah.
there was a lot of like neck stabs and face. It was real visceral. It was really visceral.
Also a lot of like scorpion stabs. Just
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
jaw.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I'm serious. I can't stop thinking about things I loved. Because when fucking Sam at the end
Oh my god. Incredible.
love to see it.
We love a Juno moment. Wow.
Juno from The Descent.
Yes. She fucking goes ape shit on Richie. So fucking funny. And it is
I mean, she
another,
probably stabs him like 16 times.
so many. And it's another kind of a serial killer gene thing, because she just will not stop stabbing him. And then she's finally done stabbing him. And he's like, wait. And you're like, no, you're dead. You're dying.
No, but I love that she then shot him like 4 times.
Well, so she stabbed him a bunch. And then he was like, what about my ending? And she was like, here it comes. And she slit his throat. And then Sydney was like, they always come back. And she was like, not this time. And she shot him
pop, 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 pop.
twice in the chest and once in the head. And I was like, bitch, get it.
I think Gail was handled pretty perfectly.
Yeah, it was
about
fine.
as appropriately. I do love her like mourning. Like she's like set.
Yeah.
Too.
She's like on the Today Show.
Yeah. But I think she handled it well. I think Courtney did great. I think Gail did great. I liked the reveal that we were in the house, Stu's house, because
we really should have known they have not remodeled the murder house at all.
But the way the movie gives us that, it very intentionally, we're well into that house.
Yeah.
Because watching,
because I thought again that they were at the Meeks house. Yeah.
But watching Mindy watching the Randy scene, I literally was like, this looks just like the house. And that's when I kind of, because I also, my memory of these movies exists in sort of like a nebulous like time warp. So I kind of at any given moment, I'm like, what part was from what movie? Who really knows?
Sure.
And then when it like zooms out, like fully out, and you're like, ah! Yeah. It was so great. I loved it. I messaged Stefan on the way over here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I loved it. He was like, me too. And he said that like, he was like, I loved the fan service stuff because it didn't feel pandering. Like it didn't feel like fan service.
It felt like an homage in a nice way.
The exact words that he used. Like I said, I really would love to. I don't know if we will revisit this. That's something actually we've threatened to do before, is revisit movies to see if our opinions have changed.
We're trying to get Rachel on board with doing Cats. That's our next venture, is to... So, because I want to revisit Cats, and Rachel never saw it because she was so put off by the trailers. So that's our next goal, is to do Cats.
But yeah, so I don't know at what point we would revisit this for me to actually go down a list
In
of
depth,
every single thought I had. But like from where I'm at now, I'm pretty high.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much like...
I really did. I liked it. I just think it's not the best one. But I do think it is absolutely 100% the scariest one since the first one. I was hard terrified for half of it.
I felt watching this the way I felt watching the ones when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
It made me feel that excitement for a slasher movie.
I was scared. And I was scared we were going to lose Gail and Sydney too. I was like, They could just get rid of the original 3.
And there were so many things that you kind of saw coming, but it
Yeah.
was so satisfying. Like when fucking Amber got the hand sanitizer smashed all over her, which I loved that little just pandemic nod. It was funny.
Pretty good.
I can't stop thinking of things that I loved about it. And as soon as it was like conspicuously still all over her, I was like, how are we going to set her on fire?
Yep.
And
the gas range will do it every time. Every time.
And even the scene with was it her and Maddie? Mindy?
Yep.
In the basement? You're gonna have to cut me off now because, like I said, I just can't stop thinking about things that I loved about it. So
okay, well, I want to tell you 2 things, 2 fun little pieces of trivia. The first is that Dylan Minetti was apparently born 9 days after the release of the first movie, which is super funny. Just that it was like.
So I was gonna say he also they were teenagers.
Yeah, he's well in his 20s.
Jenna Ortega was the youngest.
Yeah, and then the second is that David Arquette is apparently a certified Bob Ross painting instructor. And so in between takes, he taught the cast members how to paint like Bob Ross, which I think is just the absolute cutest thing in the world. I am like a low-key David Arquette stan.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's like great.
This was a very large cast that I think most people, because there is a place where you do sort of lose the teenagers, the friends, because we're so focused on Sam and Richie and Tara for so long. But they bring them in and give them enough to re-endear them to us just in the nick of time. And also, considering how large of a cast it is, they're used so well. And we have a decent amount come out. We have, because we still have Gail and Sydney. We have Sam, Tara,
Mindy and Chad both make it. And Chad was stabbed many times, but he's like thumbs upping her from the ambulance. So the only one that I'll say I didn't get enough from her is Amber. She wasn't in it enough, and she didn't give enough until you realize that she's the killer. And so I just sort of wish that she hadn't maybe been so antagonistic the whole time up to that, because I didn't feel anything for her. As soon as she revealed that she was one of the killers, I was like, well, when is she going to die? Because I can't with this. It was like ridiculous. So that was probably my biggest complaint. But yeah, I don't know. I did mostly like it. It's not my favorite. I think the third one's still my favorite, and the first one is the scariest, and then this is the second scariest.
If I'm watching one because I want to watch it, I'm watching this one.
Interesting. Okay.
If I'm watching for nostalgia, of course, the set 2 and 3 all the way for me.
Yeah. I did also want to call out Melissa Barrera. She did really well too. She was from In the Heights. Yeah. And she was Sam. She did.
I'm just gonna say one more time, justice for the Hicks, but it is what it is.
Tough, because also it
you can't fall in love with everybody.
It appeared like Deputy Judy was also divorced too, because she had West, but she wasn't wearing a ring, and there was no man around. So
it also implies there's a slight bit of retconning, because it implies he's around in Scream 4, that she has a son in Scream 4, and that feels odd.
Yeah.
There was no Hayden Panettiere, not even mentioned, but
that was a bummer. Apparently, multiple of the cast members had wished that she was coming back. Like David Arquette specifically wanted her back. I wanted her back, and again, like I said, I think I would like to watch it again in a while, like when it's streaming somewhere, because I was just so convinced that Stu was gonna come back.
I didn't even consider that.
Yeah, so I was like, well,
that's probably what this divide is.
So I saw a couple of things on Twitter that led me to believe, like not necessarily spoilers, but it like led me to believe that there was like a possibility that he was involved in it. And I think that's also what put me off of the killers being totally unconnected from the story and just being like really weird movie fan. Like it's so ridiculous. And I know that's
I still didn't like the indictment of that.
No, yeah. I like that part of it, but yeah, so that is part of my issue. I think if I were to watch it again knowing that Matthew Lillard is not going to be on my TV screen.
Actually, do you want to know what I think is probably one of the wildest bits of canon that we get in this movie is that Heather Graham is playing herself in Stab.
What do you mean she's playing herself?
Heather Graham is playing Heather Graham in Stab in Scream 2 when they're watching
playing Casey.
No, she's playing Heather Graham playing Casey.
Oh yeah. Like she's not just like an unknown up-and-comer actress. Oh, I see.
That Tara literally was like, Heather Graham plays Casey in Stab.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. Because she said Luke Wilson too.
Yes, but I guess because Heather wasn't someone at the time.
Well, Boogie Nights was already out.
That's not the point. The point is, in the Scream universe, Heather Graham exists because Tara says her name.
Yeah.
She's not just some ingenue.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so in that case, then, Luke Wilson and Tori Spelling and David Schwimmer.
Well, David Schwimmer's not ever actually in it. Like, that's a
true.
joke.
That's true.
No, I just think I thought that was funny. All right. Well. Yep.
Mostly good. He loved it. Mostly good for me.
I'm still kind of high.
Yeah.
I'm still like.
All right. Well, you can follow us on Twitter @soimwatching or Instagram @soimwatching the show and let us know what you thought about this movie. You can also like and subscribe and comment below. And then if you would like to throw us any bucks to help us keep making these episodes, you can do so at these fine establishments. Ooh.
In flames.
Well, it is her death rock.
And thank you to all of our friends,
patrons,
fans, supporters, patrons. We couldn't do it without you.
Yeah. Also, this is episode 401, so our Scream 4 episode
is episode 400.
Is episode 400. So, yeah, we should have gotten like balloons or something.
Work some special effects into that, Will.
Ay. Okay. Bye.
Bye.